everyone, this is Varnam, Assistant Professor of MBA Department of SNS College of Technology. Friends, in today's session we are going to discuss a concept under capital budgeting. So before entering into the topic, can you guess what the topic is all about? So I will give you a small clue on finding the topic, which is something related to impact on the time value, and it helps us to understand what is all about future value and present value. So what it would be? Yes. So in today's session we are going to discuss a concept called net present value. So before entering into today's session, we shall have a short recap of the previous session. In the previous session, like we were discussing on the accounting rate of return. We have seen the formula for accounting rate of return, where it is otherwise called as an average rate of return. So the main drawback of the payback as well as accounting rate of return is where it ignores the time value of money. So now we are going to see what is net present value. So NPV means net present value, where it compares all the present value of your future cash inflows with your cash outflow. So this is what called as a NPV. So the main advantage of NPV is it will consider the time value of money. In case of a payback and ARR, the drawback is it will not consider the time value of money. So this is a technique which evaluates or which measures the time value of money, where it comes under the discounting technique. So when we talk about the NPV, the formula for calculating the net present value is present value of cash inflow and minus present value of cash outflows. So we have three criteria for selecting the projects under NPV. That is, first one is positive NPV. That means if your company is earning a positive net present value, that means whether if your company is earning a profit when you are comparing to their outflows, so you can go for accepting the project. Zero NPV in the sense where the inflows and outflows are equal, where they don't have any profits, it is neutral. In this sort of situation, the company might decide, so they can consider or they may not consider. Negative NPV in the sense if the company is suffering with the loss, that means the inflow is less where the outflow is more. In that case, you should not go for accepting the project, you should reject the project. So this is the three acceptance criteria under NPV. So when we talk about NPV, we have the calculation procedure. Now we will see the step by step process for calculating the net present value. So the first and foremost thing is we have to identify the cash inflows. So as we were discussing in the payback and accounting rate of return, we should measure the expected cash inflows. So if your expected cash inflows is 5 years or 6 years, whatever it might be, we have to measure it and we have to identify the expected cash inflows. The next process is we have to convert those future inflows into present value. So that is what called as select the discount rate. So we must have a particular discount rate that is measured in percent, that is been expressed in percentage, that is cost of capital. So it might be 10%, 12%, 15% or whatever it might be. It symbolizes the risk factor of the company. So based on the risk factor of the company, the cost of capital will vary. So with the help of this cost of capital, we have to convert all our future cash inflows into the present value. So finally we have to determine the NPV using the formula, that is NPV is equal to present value of cash inflow minus present value of cash outflow. So if your result is positive, you can accept the project very well. If your result is negative, you have to reject the project, where you should not go for your further investments. So when we talk about the NPV, we have certain factors which rule investment decision. So one is time value of money, and as I have already told you, we will have discount rate, that is expressed in percentage, which reflects the risk factor of a company, and you will have inflows and outflows of your investment. And decision rule of NPV is, if your NPV is greater than 0, you will accept; if it is less than 0, you will reject. So friends, in today's session we were discussing about the net present value. So we have seen what is NPV. The main advantage of NPV is it measures the time value of money. So hope you all understood with today's session. Meet you all in